In an age where voices are raised through power, wealth, and status, there's a quiet truth that history records with more honor than any crown. Sometimes the strongest voice is the one that stands for truth in the presence of authority. Not with anger, not with rebellion, but with knowledge, faith, and courage. This is the story of a woman whose name history did not glorify with titles, but whose words Allah preserved through the Qur'an itself. A woman who stood in a public gathering, looked at the Khalifa of the Muslims, and corrected him. And the Khalifa accepted it. The city of Medina was alive with people. Men and women gathered in the masjid courtyard to hear the Khalifa speak. Umar ibn al-Khattab, known for his justice, his strength, and his fear of Allah, stood addressing the community. His voice was firm, his concern sincere. He spoke about marriage and the rising demands placed upon young men. He warned that excessive dowries were becoming a burden and proposed that a limit should be placed on mahrs so marriages could become easier. From a perspective of governance, it sounded reasonable. Society was changing. Families were demanding more. Young men were struggling. Umar was not speaking for control. He was speaking out of care. Yet, as he spoke, a woman among the crowd rose. She was not from a noble house. She did not carry authority. She did not shout, but she spoke with something more powerful than position. She spoke with Qur'an. She said, "O Umar, you cannot restrict what Allah has made lawful." Her voice carried clarity, not defiance. Then she recited the words of Allah from Surah An-Nisa. "And if you have given one of them a great amount, do not take anything from it." Surah An-Nisa 4:20. The air changed. Silence spread. Her argument was not emotional. It was not political. It was divine. She reminded the leader of the Muslims that Allah himself had acknowledged that a woman could receive even a large amount as mahr, and no one had the right to forbid what Allah allowed. This was not a rebellion. This was not disrespect. This was Islamic accountability in its purest form. A believer reminding another believer of the Book of Allah. Umar ibn al-Khattab boasts, the same man before whom powerful governors trembled now listened to a woman from the crowd. His heart did not defend his idea. It submitted to revelation. He said words that still echo across centuries. The woman is correct and Umar is wrong. In that moment, leadership was not shown through control. It was shown through humility. Authority was not displayed through force. It was displayed through obedience to Allah. This moment did not weaken Umar. It strengthened him. Because real leadership in Islam is not about being obeyed. It is about obeying Allah before anyone else. The Prophet Muhammad taught this principle when he said, "There is no obedience to creation and disobedience to the Creator," as recorded in Sahih Muslim. This woman did not come seeking fame. She did not demand recognition. She simply saw a matter touching the limits of Allah and spoke for the sake of truth. In her action, she revived the meaning of a verse that many recite but few practice. "O you who believe, stand firmly for justice, as witnesses for Allah." Surah An-Nisa 4:135. She did not stand against a man. She stood for Allah. And Umar did not lose authority that day. He gained something rarer than power, sincerity before Allah. This is not just a historical scene. It is a mirror for our time. It asks us whether we seek truth or victory, whether we value knowledge or ego, whether we fear correction or welcome it. What happened in that gathering did not end with a correction. It began a lesson that still teaches hearts centuries later. The woman returned to the crowd without applause, without praise, without even her name recorded. But Allah recorded the meaning of her action in His book. She did not challenge a ruler for pride. She defended a boundary set by Allah. And Umar ibn al-Khattab did not silence her. He listened because he knew something deeper than authority. That truth does not lose its value because of who speaks it. Umar was known to walk at night to check on the condition of his people. He feared standing before Allah more than he feared criticism. When he was corrected publicly, he did not feel humiliated. He felt protected from making a mistake in front of Allah. This is why scholars later said that this moment showed the highest form of Islamic governance, when ruler and citizen are both servants of the same Lord. Allah did not reveal the Quran to be locked inside books. He revealed it to live in hearts and voices. The verse the woman quoted was not revealed for men only or women only. It was revealed for believers. And that day, belief spoke through her. And if you have given one of them a great amount, do not take anything from it. Surah in Nisa 4:20. These words were not revealed for decoration. They were revealed to protect dignity, rights, and fairness. Umar understood this immediately. He did not search for a counterargument. He searched his own heart. That is the difference between leadership of ego and leadership of Iman. The Prophet Muhammad trained his companions on this very principle. He said, "Religion is sincere advice." When the companions asked, "To whom?" he replied, "To Allah, to his book, to his messenger, and to the leaders of the Muslims and their common people," as recorded in Sahih Muslim. This woman lived that hadith. She gave advice to a leader using the book of Allah, without hatred and without fear. Her courage did not come from anger. It came from yaqeen, certainty that Allah had already spoken. She did not invent her argument. She borrowed it from revelation. And revelation carries a weight no throne can overpower. Think about the scene again. A public gathering, a ruler speaking, a woman rising, a verse of Quran placed between authority and truth, and authority stepping back. This is not a story of rebellion. It is a story of balance. Islam does not teach silence in the face of error, nor does it teach chaos in the name of correction. It teaches responsibility with adab, courage with knowledge, and humility with power. Allah describes the believing community as those who enjoin what is right and forbid what is wrong. Surah Al-Imran 3:110. This verse is not gendered. It is human. It is ethical. It is spiritual. It teaches that every believer has a role in guarding the limits of Allah. In our time, many confuse voice with volume. They think correction must be loud to be strong. But this woman was not loud. She was precise. She did not shout an opinion. She recited a verse. And the verse carried more authority than her voice ever could. And Umar did something even greater than listening. He admitted error. He did not say, "I am the Khalifa." He did not say, "I meant well." He said, "The woman is right, and Umar is wrong." These words are heavier than gold, because admitting wrong for the sake of Allah is more difficult than ruling over people. If we look deeper, this moment in Medina was not an accident of history. It was the fruit of a society raised by the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. A society where knowledge was not locked behind walls and dignity was not tied to gender or status, but to taqwa. Allah says, "Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you." Surah Al-Hujurat 49:13. This verse was not revealed to decorate speeches. It was revealed to shape behavior. And that day, it shaped both the woman who spoke and the man who listened. The woman did not come with a slogan. She came with a verse. And Umar did not respond with pride. He responded with submission. This is the balance that Islam creates when it is lived sincerely. Authority does not cancel accountability, and courage does not cancel respect. Imagine the effect this had on the people watching. They did not witness a clash of egos. They witnessed a victory of revelation. They learned that Islam is not about who speaks. It is about what is spoken, and that no one, not even a Khalifa, stands above the Quran. The Prophet Muhammad prepared the hearts of his companions for such moments. He said, "The best jihad is a word of truth spoken in front of a tyrannical ruler," as recorded in Sunan al-Tirmidhi, Hassan Sahih. This does not mean shouting or provoking. It means speaking when silence would allow wrong to settle. It means standing when sitting would hide truth. And this woman did exactly that, with adab, with knowledge, and with sincerity. But notice something important. She did not insult. She did not accuse. She did not demand. She reminded. She did not say, "You are unjust." She said, "Allah has said." This is the difference between ego-driven speech and faith-driven speech. One seeks to defeat. The other seeks to correct.
And Umar did not feel smaller after being corrected. He became greater, because humility before Allah raises a person higher than pride ever could. The Prophet said, "No one humbles himself for the sake of Allah, except that Allah raises him," as recorded in Sahih Muslim. That day, Umar was raised, not in rank, but in example. Now bring this story into our time. We live in an age of arguments, where truth is often measured by likes and shares, where people speak without knowledge and listen without patience, where correction feels like an attack and advice feels like humiliation. But Islam teaches a different path. It teaches that truth must be spoken with wisdom and received with humility. This story asks us difficult questions. When someone reminds us with the Quran, do we listen or do we defend ourselves? When someone corrects us with sincerity, do we reflect or do we resist? When we see a wrong, do we speak with knowledge or do we stay silent out of fear? For women, this story restores a forgotten honor. It shows that knowledge gives voice, that faith gives courage, that standing for Allah does not require a title, only conviction. And for men, it restores a forgotten humility. It shows that leadership is not proven by silencing others, but by submitting to truth. This was not a courtroom with judges and lawyers. It was a court of Aman. The judge was the Quran, the witness was a believing woman, and the verdict was justice. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this story is that it was never meant to glorify her name or diminish his. It was meant to glorify Allah and protect his limits. That is why history remembered it, even when it forgot her name. So when we remember this moment, we are not just remembering a woman and a Khalifah. We are remembering a standard where truth is higher than authority, where humility is stronger than power, and where the Quran stands above every voice.